Mid-range luxury. This is the Motorola Edge 30 versus the Samsung A53. Real-world comparison. And both of these phones may very well be on sale in most places because they've just passed 1 year old from the time of this recording. And may very well also be very affordable on the second-hand market. So are they worth picking up? And which one should you go for? Let's find out. And if you're thinking, why not the Edge 40 versus the Samsung A54? Well, it's coming up if you just remember to subscribe. Now these guys, both are 6.5 inches and they have almost the same setup, nothing on this side. Down the bottom you have the SIM card tray, you have the USB-C, and you have a mic hole, and you have a speaker. Both are stereo speakers, by the way, because the other one is right up here at the very top. But both of these phones probably can just make it out. And on the last side, you have a power button and a good, clear, differentiated volume up-down button. So kudos for the build, it's good. That said, the A53 is a bit more rounded, whereas the Edge is a bit more flat on the side. And the main difference in these two guys in regards to design is the weight, because this is 155 grams versus 189 grams. So there is a clear difference in weight, and that is something that comes across in daily use, meaning that the Moto Edge 30 just handles better. Screens. I normally use a Samsung S23, this bugger, and I think that the Motorola Edge 30 screen gives me the same kind of experience, whereas the A53 is a little bit lackluster at times. I do not know why. I've tried to look the stats up on GSM Arena, and I'll just read them aloud for you real quick. And it says that this one, the Edge 30, is an AMOLED 1 billion colors, 144 Hz HDR 10 Plus screen. Whereas this guy, the Samsung, is a Super AMOLED 120 Hz up to 800 nits HBM screen. I don't know the difference, but it just appears that the Motorola is the better screen. The microphone is best on the Samsung, but the speakers are best on the Moto. And this is just a sound test. This is the sound test. This is the sound test. Does it sound right? Does it sound good? This is the sound test. This is the sound test. Does it sound right? Does it sound good? Does it sound clear? Does it sound loud? When I'm whispering, does it sound good? The Moto Edge 30 has a faster chip than the Samsung, and it comes across in the Geekbench scores, but also on the REAL-LIFE stress test that you can see here. There are also some nano review scores that you can check out right there, and then in PUBG. It also outperforms the Samsung, but none of the phones becomes too hot while playing games. Software is always a win for the Sammy, with 4 years of Android updates and 5 years of security updates versus 2 and 3 on the Moto Edge 30. And that means 4 years from now versus 2 years from now, speaking of this from the summer of 2023. Camera test. The Samsung A53 is best for the selfie camera and zoom and optical image stabilization. In several other cases, the Edge 30 is surprisingly to me the best, at least in everyday use. The A53 is too saturated and inconsistent in its images, and that surprises me because the Edge 30 is by no means the best camera phone I've used compared to other phones. So neither of these two guys are camera phones per se. If you want to see a more detailed camera comparison of these two guys, please watch the camera comparison I made right up here. Conclusion: the Motorola Edge 30 appeals to me a lot. It's easy to operate and fast enough. The Samsung A53 doesn't appeal to me to the same degree. It's a bit clunky and heavy compared to the lightweight Edge 30, and sometimes also slow. Only big point to the Samsung goes for the software update policy. The camera is just a bit all over the place. So the Samsung A53, I would go there no more, whereas the Moto Edge 30 is just a solid mid-ranger in everyday use that you will like and love to use. Mind you that, only 2 years from now. Subscribe for my upcoming review of the Samsung A54 versus the Motorola Edge 40. Perhaps that's gonna be another brand outcome there. My name is Brian from Denmark, your tech friend, and I'll see you in that one.